At PlayStation's recent State of Play, a stunning announcement came from the reveal of Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a collaboration between Sony, Marvel, and ArcSystem Works. When you consider all of the different companies involved, this is probably one of the most surprising reveals in recent gaming history. I also think this game is the final key to a plan PlayStation has been plotting right under our noses for the last several years. So let's talk about this game, as well as PlayStation's new commitment to the fighting genre, and what it all means moving forward. Marvel has a deep history in the fighting game genre, with the most notable of course being the Marvel vs. Capcom series. But we haven't seen a lot from that franchise recently. The last new game in the series was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite in 2017. The last numbered release goes back even farther with Marvel vs. Capcom 3 in 2011. For years, fans have been waiting for a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 with no news to speak of. So to see the ArcSystem Works logo precede the reveal of Captain America's shield was a jaw-dropping moment. This was truly unthinkable. A new Marvel fighting game being developed without Capcom's involvement seemed impossible. What's even crazier is that Marvel Tokon will be introducing a 4v4 fighting system, a feature that most had assumed would make its first appearance with the appropriately titled Marvel vs. Capcom 4. It's hard to imagine a world now where Marvel vs. Capcom continues, at least in the near future. Meanwhile, fans of Guilty Gear and ArcSystem Works have been theorizing about what they've been working on for the last several years. With Guilty Gear Strive releasing in 2021, it's been somewhat of a mystery of what their next major fighting game release would be. For it to be a Marvel game is a dramatic shift for the genre, brand, and companies involved, one that I don't think anybody would have expected. It feels to me like Marvel may have soured on their relationship with Capcom, maybe due to the less than stellar reception to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, or because of the long breaks in between entries. Or maybe it was neither of these things, and they simply saw a great opportunity when PlayStation approached them. Speaking of, that part of the story is what really caught my attention. It's a somewhat random thing for PlayStation to do, right? They went to a developer in ArcSystem Works that they do not own, in order to develop a licensed fighting game based on Marvel characters that they also do not own. It appears PlayStation will be funding and publishing the game, meaning they are likely taking the brunt of the cost on a project they will have almost no direct ownership over. So, other than getting a big game as a console exclusive, what exactly is in it for them? As I thought about it more, I realized this goes all the way back to a forgotten acquisition that came over 4 years ago. On March 18th, 2021, it was announced that Sony would be purchasing EVO, the premier fighting game tournament and event in the world. At the time, it was unclear why exactly they did this. I suppose there were some immediate benefits. For example, all games at EVO would now be played on PlayStation consoles when applicable, and there was PlayStation branding everywhere. But realistically, those things could have been achieved by simply sponsoring the event. Why go out of your way to buy it outright? For years, we didn't get any answers, with many probably forgetting this even happened at all. Years later, we get this State of Play. About halfway through the event, they unveiled the official PlayStation Fight Stick, another seemingly random announcement. But then, they wrapped up the show with Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, and it clicked for me. PlayStation just went all in on fighting games. They have a new massive fighting game under their publishing label, a PlayStation branded fight stick, and you'll be watching people play that new game with their new fight stick at the fighting game tournament they also own. PlayStation just cornered the fighting game genre, and I think it is absolutely genius. We know that PlayStation has been trying to break into the multiplayer gaming space for years with no luck. You would have to go as far back as PlayStation 3 or even PlayStation 2 to find the last time they had a true big hit from their first party. The only real recent success they have had is Helldivers 2, but that is a second party game. And even then, PlayStation's involvement only seemed to hurt Helldivers. Throughout their whole live service push over the last several years, the prevailing genre has been multiplayer shooters. Think games like The Last of Us Online, Concord, or Fair Games. Throughout the constant delays, cancellations, and failures, it's clear PlayStation just simply doesn't understand this space. So rather than going insane and trying the same thing that is not working over and over again, they are looking to a new genre. And it's not a coincidence that this new genre is the one they had already invested in years prior. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls can finally be the multiplayer hit PlayStation is looking for. Assuming the game is good and successful, which I think is a pretty safe bet considering the track record of its developer, PlayStation will be pulling in fans from a brand new audience, the entire goal of their initial multiplayer push. And with PlayStation going out and working with external partners for Marvel Tokon, they won't be wasting the time of their first-party teams like they have been for the last few years, no longer putting them on live service projects that don't fit their identity. It's a true win-win scenario for everyone involved. Marvel fighting game fans get a new high-budget entry from one of the best developers in the business. PlayStation gets a high-value console exclusive that could finally establish them in the multiplayer space, without sacrificing their single-player focused first-party studios. And perhaps most importantly, the fighting game community gets the final piece of a massive investment from one of the biggest companies in the gaming world, which will no doubt help push the genre forward, benefiting all fighting games to come before or after it. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls has very quickly shot up my list of most anticipated games. First off, it comes from a dev team that has shown time and time again they know how to make a damn good fighting game. What I personally love most about ArcSystem Works is their art style and animation. There really are no other games on the market that look quite like theirs. To see that art style applied to Marvel is a match made in heaven. Just look at these character designs. I love how unapologetically Japanese it all is. It's clear there were no boundaries put on the art team, which can be rare for a licensed project. The Marvel IP has been done thousands of times by countless different people and teams, so to present an aesthetic for these characters that I can genuinely say I have never seen before is incredibly impressive. To be fair, I am not a comic expert, so if Iron Man already looked like this in a random spin-off comic that received one issue from 20 plus years ago, you'll have to forgive me. One aspect of the game I am somewhat worried about, or I guess cautious of, is the 4v4 style. I think the devs knew this would sound crazy because they made sure to point out you can play full matches with just one character and only use the other 3 as assists. This seems like a fine solution for casual play, but I have to imagine switching between all 4 will become vital at higher level play. For someone like myself who is not the best at fighting games despite my love for them, it sounds very overwhelming. Although I am sure this will cause some absolutely beautiful pro play that will be a joy to watch, so I'll be looking forward to that. But in order for the game to reach that next level of success, it needs to be somewhat approachable for casual players as well, which is definitely something to keep in mind. I guess there's not much else to say, at least until we see more from the game, but from the brief stuff they've shown so far, I am all in on Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a much shorter one than I usually make, but I just wanted to quickly talk about the PlayStation connection, as it's something I think a lot of people are missing and would probably have no idea about if you don't pay close attention to the Sony ecosystem like I do. Let me know if you would like to see me make more quick videos like this about trending stories when there is something on my mind I want to yap about. Of course, it won't take away from my usual content, just a nice supplement. Anyways, I'll talk to you all again soon. Thanks for watching.